It's Derby Day in Arkansas. 1990 as Oaklawn Park becomes for a day the third largest population center in this state. They have turned out for the 65th and final day of racing here. More than 60,000 of them as they wrap up this week-long racing festival of the South. With Oaklawn's headline event, it's the $500,000 Arkansas Derby. We're positioned just outside the winner's circle here at beautiful Oaklawn Park. And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln, as always, glad to be back in Hot Springs, Arkansas, as this historic spa track wraps up its 1990 meeting. And what a great meeting it's been here. We've got a big show of racing for you today. The headline event, of course, the Arkansas Derby. We'll also have live coverage for you, or rather tape coverage of the Ashland Stakes from Keeneland earlier today. A big 3-year-old filly race there. Results of the Wood Memorial, the last major prep race in the East for the Kentucky Derby. And obviously a recap of the greatest week in thoroughbred racing, the Racing Festival of the South. Joining me now, the president and owner of Oaklawn Park, Mr. Charles J. Sella, stepping in. And Mr. Sella, well, you've made it happen. The sun always shines at Oaklawn.
Chris, we're lucky, and welcome back to Oaklawn, where the sun always shines.
Well, of course, Oaklawn is a charter member of the TRA, standing for the finest, the integrity of racing. That's what Oaklawn is all about.
We are a charter member, and of course, integrity of any sport is what it's all about. And the Thoroughbred Racing Associations and its subsidiary, the TRPB, make sure that the highest standards are followed in the sport of kings.
Well, everybody across the nation of racing wants to know your secret. How does Oaklawn do it?
Good people. You know, this great sport, the king of sports, is all about thoroughbred racing and good people. And we put together, in my judgment, the finest authorities and gurus in racing.
Well, you've done an excellent job. I've got to ask you very quickly, the Racing Festival of the South was a smash this week. People here are buzzing about those. Some of these races have been actually downgraded from what they felt was a very worthy Grade 1 status. Your comment.
Now, Chris, you know, you're the golden voice of thoroughbred racing across America. Don't want to get into controversy. That committee, I have a lot of friends on that committee. I think they stubbed their toe.
Yeah, everybody thinks so. And by the way, there are no graded stakes at Oaklawn anymore. Grade 1, 2, or 3. They're all
Grade A.
All right. Mr. Sella, thank you much. It's great to be here at Oaklawn.
God bless you.
I appreciate it. You have a presentation. I want to get my special tie here.
I don't like that necktie you have on, so we at Oaklawn and the board of directors present this. This is the official 1990 Arkansas Derby cravat.
I appreciate it. Mr. Sella, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Charles J. Sella, the president and owner of Oaklawn Park. Let's take a look at the conditions of his stellar race. It's the Oaklawn presentation of the Arkansas Derby, the 54th running. $500,000 guaranteed. The 3-year-old's going 1.1 miles. And the track opened this morning is sloppy after heavy rains overnight, was upgraded to muddy, and now has just been changed to good as we near the running of the Arkansas Derby. Well, those are the conditions. I've got my tie to put on. I think Tom Durkin has his, and he has the feel for us for the Arkansas Derby.
Yes, Chris, tied on, so to speak. And the Kentucky Derby is just 2 weeks away. The Arkansas Derby has gone a long way in determining some of the favorites for the Run for the Roses, but that's not going to happen this year. But there are a half dozen or so colts in this race that could make the field for this year's Kentucky Derby. Now, keep in mind that the Derby is limited to 20 starters, the Kentucky Derby, that is, based on a preference of highest earnings in graded stakes races. This is a Grade 2 stake with a $500,000 purse. Let's meet the field for this 54th Arkansas Derby. Real Cash and Power Lunch for Wayne Lucas, who always has one in the Kentucky Derby. Real Cash used his speed to win the San Felipe. Bismarck Hills and Maverick Minor are owned by Arkansan John Ed Anthony, who has had horses in this race 10 of the last 11 years, and he's won it twice. Autocracy, a former claimer. And Penguin, he'll be a healthy price this afternoon. Silver Ending, who was considered one of the leading 3-year-olds until an uncharacteristically bad race in the San Felipe. Tarascon has the distinction of being beaten only 1 length by the undefeated Mr. Frisky. And speaking of undefeated, Wicked Destiny is. He's 3 for 3, including the Remington Park Derby. Bright again, the favorite, off a strong second-place finish to none other than Summer Squall in the Jim Beam. Louis St. George was a good-looking winner here in the $100,000 Rebel Stakes, and a Bold Pocket was scratched with the fever this morning. Hawaiian Pass was a troubled 4th in the Rebel, and CSAB, a Florida-based runner, who will be a long price in this $500,000 race this afternoon. Well, if you are a horse nut, nothing to be ashamed of, because I admit it readily, this was the place to be this week for the Racing Festival of the South. Exciting stakes action every day of the week. And on Monday, the 3-year-olds were sprinting in the Bachelor Stakes. And take a look at Karen's Tom, ridden by Pat Day, will go on to a track record 107-4. And look how easy Day is riding him. After the race, he said, "Bring on Housebuster." Wednesday's feature, the Apple Blossom, brought out champion race mare Bayakoa at odds of 1 to 10. And here she relinquishes the lead to arch rival Gorgeous after a mile in 1:34 and 2. And Gorgeous will just cruise on home. And yesterday, here at the Fantasy Stakes, 3-year-old fillies Hail Atlantis, Fit to Scout, Stacy's Toy, all left behind in the muddy wake of Lonely Girl, and 25-1 winner Silvered, who wins it in an upset. And there was another upset on Friday afternoon. Top sprinter Sunny Blossom met defeat. And Hot Springs, Arkansas is a town that is famous for its baths. And that is what the favorite players were taking here all week long. Chris, back to you.
Thank you, Tom. So something to be aware of. It's been a big week of upsets here for the Racing Festival of the South. When we come back, we'll take a look at one of those that's being looked at as perhaps one of the favorites for this Arkansas Derby of 1990. We'll be right back to Oaklawn Park. Part of the crowd of more than 60,000 here at Oaklawn Park. They're going to bet more than $5 million on track today. Well, it's Tom Durkin can tell you we are 2 weeks away from the Kentucky Derby. And this is the time to finally sort out with some of these 3-year-olds. Are they good enough to pay the $10,000 entry fee, then the $10,000 fee to start for the Run for the Roses at Churchill Downs? It's a story of dreams and hopes, of course, in this business. And here's a horse that has made some dreams come true for his owners. For everyone in this game looking for a silver lining among the racing clouds, here's a story that has the makings of a silver ending. The Silver Tail, that named this thoroughbred, belongs to a colt that comes into today's Derby with more money earned than any in the field, over $338,000. This story started at Keeneland in the fall of 1988. Trainer Ron McAnally was shopping for a bargain. He ended up with this son of Silver Hawk for his wife, Deborah, longtime friend, Angelo Costanza.
Silver Ending was one of the steals of the century, I think. Ronnie came to me and we had just gotten rid of a horse that wasn't going to make it to the race, and he says, "Well, I got another one for you." I says, "Well, how much do you want for him?" He said, $750. I said, "You said $750 or $7,500 or $75,000?" He said, "No, $750." I said, "Well, he must only have 3 legs, Ronnie, because you know, you paid $3,500 for a pony down in Texas just a couple of weeks ago."
Well, Silver Ending is no pony, as he proved in one of the year's first major 3-year-old races, Bay Meadows' El Camino Real Derby. Coming from off the pace, he went from 4th to 1st to win by 3 lengths. For Costanza, who owns the popular Cheyenne Supper Club restaurant in Arcadia, California, near Santa Anita Racetrack, it was a well-deserved reward for a man who over the last 20 years has had 15 to 20 horses, and none of them ever made it to the racetrack.
Well, that's a great, you know, high that, you know, I've never been to the winner's circle before, so this was the first horse I ever got to the winner's circle.
In his last start, Silver Ending was off the board for the first time in his 7-race career. 9th by more than 15 lengths in the San Felipe Handicap on a track he didn't like. Now today's race will decide his immediate future.
Yeah, it is very important. As long as he runs a good race, Chris. He doesn't necessarily have to win, but if he runs a good race and shows that he can get the Derby distance and he's closing and, you know, and runs a decent race, I think we'll go ahead.
Well, there's a live shot of trainer Ron McAnally, and the pressure is on him because next to him his wife, Deborah, the co-owner of Silver Ending. And Ron has said she's a tough owner. Deborah's let us know she already has, by the way, her air tickets purchased for Louisville, Kentucky. So the pressure's on Ron today. Well, you know, Silver Ending is making his 3rd start, and in 8 career starts, this is his first time outside of California. He faces today many that have a lot of experience on this racetrack. And of course, one of the big preps here was the Rebel Stakes. We're going to take a closer look at that race now, so go inside the daily racing form with the veteran columnist, Don Grisham.
The Rebel Stakes here has been for years the most significant tune-up for the Arkansas Derby. And the one this year, you can look at it in 2 different directions. The time wasn't, you know, the 146 was one of the slowest of Rebels, but so many of the contenders had traffic problems. And so you look at this race in retrospect. You take the 3 to 10 favorite, Tarascon. He was down on the fence all the way, and he was so concerned with getting off the fence. The rail was deep that day that he never had a chance to relax. Larry Steiner, who was riding him, was trying to move the horse, trying to get him off the fence. He got in between horses. He never settled, and he ran a disappointing race. You take the second horse in the race, Maverick Miner, was 4 horses wide on the first turn. He was 5 horses wide on the second turn. There's a horse that coming out of that race, Hawaiian Pass, who finished 4th. He had no room to run off from the 3/16 pole to the 8th pole. He finally had to bull his way through horses and closed with a rush. And, you know, you want to discount that effort and say this horse could have been right there. But people looking back at this race in retrospect, how are you going to take this race? Are you going to take the Rebel as, you know, the stepping stone? Or are you going to go to an outside horse like Bright Again, who has come out of the Jim Beeman run so well? How about the speed? Are you going to go with Wicked Destiny, who's undefeated? There's a lot of questions, and of course the Arkansas Derby is going to have to answer them.
And our thanks to Don Grisham and, as always, to the Daily Racing Form with their charts and statistical help, America's Turf Authority. And as you see, owners, trainers, friends, waiting for the arrival of the horses, and here they come for the Arkansas Derby. Here's part of the prize, along with $500,000 total purse. Welcome back to Oaklawn Park. We want to give you a quick look at the odds now, and the first look at what the people here think of this field. Real Cash, Power Lunch, the D. Wayne Lucas entry at 10-1. Loblolly Stable entry at Bismarck Hills and Maverick Miner at 25. Autocracy at 99. Penguin 25. Silver Ending, just saw the feature on him at 6-1. Terra Scott at Jack Van Berg 7-2. Wicked Destiny, the Remington Park Derby winner, at 4-1. Bright Again 8-5 is the favorite. Louis St. George at 16, the winner of the Rebel. Bull Pocket was scratched earlier today. Hawaiian Pass at 11-1. Then Seesaw at 70-1. Well, Tom Durkin has a feature for us now on the Rebel Stakes winner. See some of the lovely ladies here at Oaklawn today. That's Louis St. George, and a story about a trainer with connections back to a racing legend.
1977 was an exciting year for thoroughbred racing as Seattle Slew swept to victory in the Triple Crown and was named Horse of the Year. Then, before his 4-year-old season, a controversy. Slew would be handled by a new trainer. He was young, capable, but a relative unknown. 26-year-old Doug Peterson was assigned to train America's best racehorse, and he remembers those glory days of 12 years ago vividly.
I believe one of them was the Marlboro Cup. There was quite a bit of pressure on myself and the horse that he needed to win that race for his future as a stallion and to continue on. And he was very impressive. He was only 1/5 off Secretariat's world record.
Peterson was a bright young star with a promising future, but it was a promise not soon fulfilled.
Well, I brought Tejo Stable out to California in '79 after Slew retired, and had a nice horse then, the Big John Taylor in Quiet Crossing, won the Bradbury there. And the following year, finished second in the Kentucky Oaks with the horse Mighty Lively. And I had some personal problems. I had a battle with alcoholism, and fortunately I was able to get myself straightened out. I had I would call it a setback, and now I'm able to have my career back by the grace of God, and here we are.
And it has been a clean and sober Doug Peterson since 1987, working day by day, rebuilding the career he almost lost. And now he has a colt named Louis St. George that could put him back into the limelight, back into the Triple Crown picture with a repeat performance of his last start.
I thought the colt was very impressive. He was 11th, 18 lengths out of it. I think at the quarter pole or close by, he had one horse beat, 13 lengths out of it. And from then, by the time he got to the 16th pole, he was already in front. Just incredible run. The colt went wide, and he was just very impressive.
And Doug Peterson's comeback is impressive, but his story is not unique in sports and in racing. There are a number of stories just like his. But like every recovering alcoholic, he leads his life one day at a time. And in Doug Peterson's case, one hard-working and dedicated day at a time. Chris?
All right, thank you. And Jack Van Berg, our Hall of Fame trainer, is waiting for the arrival of Tarascon, his entry for this Arkansas Derby. Jack, tell us about Tarascon. He was a great in the Southwest, won by 12, had a trouble trip in the Rebel.
Well, he had some trouble, Chris, in the Rebel. He was bounced off the fence about 3 times. He was down in the deep going. And it's a question whether he can go this far. The people we got him from didn't think he could run a distance of ground. You know, they thought he was a better sprinter. So we'll find out today what he can do and if he'll be a route horse, or we'll just have to slack back and go to sprinting.
You made a rider's switch on new Hall of Famer George Velasquez.
Yeah, Mr. Franks kind of talked to Velasquez, and they decided to get him, and so George will ride him good. I think anybody could have rode him. You know, it's just a question whether he can go that far.
Concerned, Jack, about all the speed there seems to be in this race.
Well, there's some speed in here, but Chris, you never know. Sometimes when you get in one of these speed races, somebody takes back, one horse leaps on the lead and just keeps going. So you have to have somebody on there that knows where he's going and what he's doing and how fast he's going. And if we end up on the lead easy, we'll go. If we don't, we'll do like we did in the Southwest and sit back and wait.
Jack, good luck today.
Thank you, Chris.
Jack Van Berg, also the perennial leading trainers here at Oaklawn Park, but as usual, he chases his father. He's never won the Arkansas Derby. Marion Van Berg won both divisions when they split the stake back in 1960. We'll be back with more of the Arkansas Derby. Stay with us. We're back in the infield now as they're getting ready to saddle, and with us now is Chuck Tillefero, who is the trainer of Wicked Destiny. Of course, we saw him win the Remington Park Derby, wire to wire. Is that your strategy, wire to wire again, Chuck?
Well, this horse has natural speed, so I'll kind of let him set his own pace. We've worked with him a little bit, trying to get him to relax. Hopefully he will today. There's 3 other speed horses in here, you know, if they use that speed. So the pace is going to be pretty fast, I'm sure. So I'm just going to let John, you know, do whatever he can do as far as getting him relaxed and place him wherever he can and have him comfortable.
Wicked Destiny's been comfortable on this track before, winning the old Rosebud. Broke his maiden here.
Yes. He's run very well, and he's 3 for 3, so this colt does have some talent. I'm glad he's in with this field of horses. We'll see what we've got.
Well, Champagne for Ashley was beaten today. We have now just one Mr. Frisky, unbeaten, going to the Kentucky Derby. You could be a second, Chuck. Good luck today.
Well, if my luck prevails, we'll see what happens.
All right, Chuck Tillefero with Wicked Destiny, the trainer there. Let's go upstairs now to Tom Durkin.
All right, we're going to take a look at the odds here now for this 54th Arkansas Derby. Real Cash and Power Lunch, the Lucas entry at 8-1. Bismarck Hills and Maverick Minor will be off at, well, at least 25-1 now. Autocracy, that former claimer, is a big price. Penguin, also a big price today. Silver Ending, bit of an overlay at this point, it would seem, at 6-1. And they're rounding out the field, Tarascon, who the locals have seen here at 4-1. Wicked Destiny, who also the locals have seen, and the locals certainly have seen a lot of Pat Day. His horses always get a lot of attention. 8-5 on Bright Again. Louis St. George is 17-1 at this point. Bolt Pocket was scratched. Hawaiian Pass was 11-1, and C-Seb a long price on the outside. Let's go down to Chris.
All right, Tom, over the future Hall of Fame trainer, D. Wayne Lucas. He's got 2 in today. And Wayne, I'll tell you, Real Cash made you work saddling him.
Yeah, he's a little bit tough. He's always been a little bit into his races and everything. Once he gets the tack on, he usually settles, but it's always a little bit of an ordeal.
Well, let the people take a look at Real Cash on the lead in the San Felipe, and ran very well there. It's another horse with speed, a lot of speed in this race.
I think it's a speed field, but I think that there's going to have to be some judgment calls by the riders. Not everybody can have the same position. Everybody wants to lay 3rd and 4th. It's going to get crowded there, but I think that they'll kind of sort themselves out. It's a good representable field, and I think that the speed will take care of itself as we get into it.
And we take a look at Real Cash drawing off in the San Felipe. Then was 4th in the San Diego Derby. Real Cash was really rambunctious in the paddock here. You've also just saddled 1A Power Lunch. Where do you expect him to be, Wayne?
Well, they have contrasting styles. Power Lunch is definitely a late runner. I hope that he'll make one big run. If, in fact, the speed does get a little bit risky up front and they get going too fast, then at least we've got another shot with a late comer. I'm hoping that Real Cash will rate and Power Lunch will lay close, and then we can make a run for it and get a piece of it anyhow.
I know you're looking to clarify your Derby picture here today. Good job by Land Rush in the Bluegrass. Had Atlantis with no chance on the sloppy track yesterday. What are your Derby plans at this point, Wayne?
Right now it looks like we'll see how these 2 sort themselves out, and of course Land Rush is definite at this point. And I think Hale Atlantis, given that she didn't get the race we'd have hoped for yesterday, we'll lean towards the Oaks itself, but we always have that option, you know, since it's the second day. We can enter on Friday and look at Saturday, but I'm looking towards the Oaks.
Wayne, I appreciate it. $500,000 race. You know Team Lucas will be here. All the best.
I hope the white bridles are somewhere there.
All right. D. Wayne Lucas, you're taking a look at some of the activity in the walking ring now, and really the most excitement was caused by Real Cash, as he did get a bit worked up here. Rusty Arnold and Bright Again saddled down the way from us. He remains the favorite in this race. Is placed in 9 of 11. We saw Bright Again in the fine effort, second in the Jim Beam to Summer Squall. And the folks are still excited about this. Let's take a look now at Bright Again. You'll see him on the lead as he makes the turn down the stretch here for the Jim Beam wire. But Summer Squall in the dogwood yellow and green on the outside coming after him, and would eventually run Bright Again down to win the Jim Beam Stakes. But a fine effort, and as we mentioned, Bright Again with some experience has placed in 9 of 11 races. There is number 8, and will be ridden by the best at Oaklawn, and that is Pat Day, who just clinched his 8th riding title in a row here at Oaklawn Park, winning over 100 in this 65-day meeting. Also, Bob Holtis, with a victory in the 7th race today, just clinched the training title here at Oaklawn Park for 1990. Well, that's the story right now in the infield area. The horses have all been tacked up. The riders have arrived. They'll be putting them up very soon. And we'll be right back with more of our live coverage of Arkansas's Derby 1990.
Another Breeders' Cup Championship moment. Under sunny skies at Florida's Gulfstream Park, the Argentine-bred Bayacoa and jockey Lafitte Pincay sought to complete their sensational season with a victory against the world's best fillies and mares in the $1 million Breeders' Cup Bistep.
Bayacoa is put to a fierce drive, trying to hold on by 2. George is trying to catch her. Bayacoa is got it!
For Bayacoa, this brilliant performance was her Breeders' Cup Championship moment.
Back at Oaklawn Park for the post parade for the 54th Arkansas Derby. Number 1 is Real Cash by Tanks Prospect, winner of the 1985 Arkansas Derby, who was also trained by Wayne Lucas. Real Cash is one of 4 horses here that would like to get the lead, and he did just that in the Santa Anita Derby, but wound up 4th. Jose Santos is the jockey. Number 1A is Power Lunch by Wild Again, an exciting young sire. This, however, is not his best son. He's won only a maiden race, was beaten 16 lengths in the Jim Beam. 19-year-old Aaron Grider is up. And Bismarck Hills is a Keeneland sales purchase, as indicated by our green gavel there. Bismarck Hills making his 4th start. While improving, he seems too inexperienced and overmatched today. Don Howard, who won the biggest race of his life here yesterday afternoon, looks for an even bigger day this afternoon. 2X Maverick Minor, the other Loblolly entry, was 2nd here in the Rebel, beaten 4 emphatic lengths. Prior to that, a good campaign at Aqueduct this winter. Hot Springs resident Sam Maple is the jockey. Autocracy is another Keeneland sales purchase, and what a story it would be if he should win. A son of Alidar, whose stud fee is a couple $100,000. This horse was claimed for $12,500 7 weeks ago, and he's won since. But today, well, I don't know. Like I said, it would be a good story. C.J. Woodley is the jockey. Penguin, another Keeneland sale purchase, is improving steadily. Turned back several challenges to win his first 2-turn try. He's a sleeper here. Keep an eye on him. David Guillory is up. And Silver Ending was a horse that was a $1,500 Keeneland sales purchase. And there's Penguin in that pink. Here's another horse in pink colors. That is Silver Ending, who bombed in the San Felipe with several other good stretch runners. Trainer Ron McAnally blamed it on the speed favoring Santa Anita racing strip. Prior to that bad effort, he had a good one to win the El Camino Real Derby. First time Lasix this afternoon. Gary Stevens looking for his 2nd Arkansas Derby win. Tarascon is number 6, a very fast horse, but he was cooked in a speed duel in the Rebel after his 12-length win in the Southwest. Finesse jockey Jorge Velasquez has been called upon to ride today. Wicked Destiny, undefeated in 3 starts, including the Old Rosebud here, and the Remington Park Derby. John Lively, a solid veteran who suits this front runner well, is astride him this afternoon. Number 8 is Bright Again, and he's favored for good reason. His first start this year, he beat highly regarded Red Ransom. In his 2nd start, he battled Summer Squall, losing 2.5 lengths. Pat Day, who rides Summer Squall, is on Bright Again this afternoon. And here is number 9, Nuit Saint George. He's a big, good-looking horse and a long-striding individual, a son of Playfellow, who won the mile and 1/16 Rebel going away, and he'll appreciate the mile and 1/8 this afternoon. He'd probably like a mile and 1/4. Jim Bruin is back to ride. Number 10 has been scratched, and number 11 is Hawaiian Pass. Well, as the saying goes, if it weren't for bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all. There's a jockey change this afternoon to a very capable young rider by the name of Art Madrid Jr. He's aboard Hawaiian Pass today. And completing the field is CSAB, 2nd in the Remington Park Derby, was later disqualified. Traces of butazolone were found. Bute is legal in most places, but not in Oklahoma. Back on Butte in Florida, he was a dull 4th. Odin Londono is here to ride. And that's the field of 13 3-year-olds for this Arkansas Derby. Let's go downstairs.
All right, thank you, Tom. The post parade for the 1990 Arkansas Derby. You know, since 1983, the Arkansas Derby has produced more winners of Triple Crown races than any other Triple Crown prep. With that in mind, let's take a look back at a past Arkansas Derby.
This Claiborne Look Back is brought to you by Claiborne Farm, where for more than a century, a great record reflects our experience.
It was April 16, 1983, when a colt from Canada, Sonny's Halo, was on the lead as the favorite in the 47th running of the Arkansas Derby.
They're in the stretch. Sonny's Halo is the leader. Slide Jet is second. My Mac on the outside third, followed by Southern Boy. Between horses, here comes Caveat. It is Sonny Halo leading it by 4 lengths. Along the inside, here comes Caveat and Exile King. But it's Sonny's Halo leading by 4 lengths. Sonny's Halo in front. And under a hand ride, Sonny's Halo will win the Arkansas Derby easily by 4 lengths.
Sonny's Halo went on that year to win the Kentucky Derby and become the only Arkansas Derby winner to take the roses. And Claiborne Farm knows about victory at the Arkansas Derby. They won here with Monitor, the Arkansas Derby of 1967. We'll be back to run the 1990 Derby right after this. If you take a look down the backstretch here at Oaklawn Park, our favorite is Bright Again, the 8-horse at 3-2 of Rusty Arnold. That's the favorite. We know what you're looking for, a Budweiser long shot. Here's our pick for the Arkansas Derby.
For our Budweiser long shot this week, we've decided to pass. That is Hawaiian Pass. The gray son of Pass the Glass spent most of his career in California for trainer Humberto Aguilera and defeated Nuit Saint-Georges in his last start there despite trouble at the start. But in the Rebel here at Oaklawn, Hawaiian Pass found double trouble, triple trouble, indeed every kind of trouble. And here's the list: bumped, pushed out, blocked, impeded, shut off, hampered, crowded, and intimidated. And somehow he managed to bull his way between horses to finish a fast-closing fourth. Today, successful East Coast jockey Art Madrid Jr. takes over the helm, and if Hawaiian Pass can avoid getting shut off at the pass, he just might pass the whole field as the Budweiser long shot.
And our Budweiser long shot, number 11, Hawaiian Pass. And on the tote board now, there you see he is 12-1. Let's go upstairs as Tom Durkin is going to have a comment after we take a look at our odds here about a rider. Well, it's a story you've got to hear. Here's our odds update now for the crowd. Real Cash Power Lunch at 8-1. Bismarck Hills, Maverick Minor at 35. Autocracy 99. Penguin 23. Silver Ending at 6-1. Tarascon 7-2. Look at some of the others here. There's a short price on Wicked Destiny, and Bright Again is the favorite at 3-2. Tom Durkin, we've teased him enough. What's this story about a rider with courage?
Well, one quality every jockey should have is courage, and the jockey, number 9, Nuit Saint-Georges, Jamie Bruin. Jockeys must have courage. They must be willing to dare almost anything in order to win. And jockey James Bruin is willing to do anything to win. In fact, one day he did the most fearless thing I've ever seen a jockey do. He claimed foul on his wife. He really did. His wife Leah is a jockey as well. The claim was allowed, by the way. It is not known what the dinner conversation was like at the Bruin household that evening. They're moving into line. Wicked Destiny is there. Several of the speed horses in this race, indeed 3 of them, are ridden by jockeys who aren't particularly known for going right to the front. Real Cash, who's breaking from the inside, is ridden by Jose Santos. And then Tarascon, a finesse jockey, is ridden by Jorge Velasquez today. Pat Day is very patient. But Wicked Destiny is ridden by John Lively, who really likes it on the front end. And the other horses that will be coming from off the pace mostly are from the outside. And they won't have any problem going into the first turn like some of those speed horses will. Their problem will be getting it to the lead from the back of the pack, either going through the field or going around the field. On the outside, there goes Maverick Minor into post position number 11. Breaking on the far outside will be Hawaiian Pass and CSAB. CSAB's making his 4th start in 5 weeks, has been disqualified from 2 of them. They're probably anxious not to be DQ'd. And there is CSAB going into line for this Arkansas Derby. They're in the gate for the Classic, and they're off. CSAB broke well on the outside. Penguin's going for the lead toward the inside. Bright Again is there. Tarascon is out fast. Wicked Destiny is now being asked for running on the far outside. It's Bismarck Hills, but it's Penguin who steals away now with the lead as the field moves into the first turn. Bismarck Hills caught wide. Tarascon is up there. Wicked Destiny is floated 3 wide going into the turn. Real Cash is saving ground. He's up close, just 3 lengths off the lead. Bright Again is sitting in behind. Horses running along about 5.5 lengths off the lead. There's a gap of 5 to an unhurried Power Lunch. Silver Ending is saving ground now. He's running along about 9 lengths off the lead. And farther back, it's Maverick Minor. Hawaiian passes next, Autocracy, and Louise St. George. And CSAB is sluggish, and he's far out of it now as they continue down the backstretch. The first quarter was zipped in 22 seconds flat. And it is Penguin who's on the lead as they approach the half-mile pole. And he's reeled off a half mile in 45-1. Wicked Destiny sitting just off his flank. Real Cash is sent through an opening toward the inside. Bright Again in perfect striking position as the field enters the final turn. And then it's Bismarck Hills is now dropping back in 5th. Tarascon is dropping out of it. Power Lunch is picking it up in between horses. And Silver Ending is moving through on the inside. Now he'll need racing room. He's just 5 lengths off the lead as they move midway around the far turn. They're coming to the top of the stretch, and Penguin is still brave on the lead. Silver Ending is charging through on the inside. Bright Again is laboring on the outside. Real Cash is in behind horses. Power Lunch is also right there. And then Wicked Destiny, and Silver Ending is turning it on now as the field comes down to the final furlong. He's pouring it on. He's opened up by 3. Real Cash is second. Power Lunch is third. And the others are far back, and it's going to be Silver Ending in a comeback, and he wins it in full stride. A good-looking finish here in 1:48 flat. Silver Ending comes from off the pace to win it. Real Cash was second. Farther back, Power Lunch was third. A rail skimming ride there by jockey Gary Stevens to win his second Arkansas Derby.
All right, Tom Durkin, Silver Ending. That's the $1,500 Keeneland sales bargain from that fall sale. Ron McAnally said he pulled up to Keeneland and thought he was there on the wrong day. Nobody was there, so Ron walked in, put his hand up once for $1,500 and brought home the son of Silver Hawk for his wife, Deborah, and for his partner, Angelo Costanza. And this $1,500 colt, the winner earlier this year at Bay Meadows, the El Camino Real Derby, and then a disappointment later on at Santa Anita, has come back to win the Arkansas Derby. And Deborah McAnally, well, she can use those tickets she bought early on to save money to get to Churchill Downs. Silver Ending, winner of the Arkansas Derby, looks like he'll be heading there. The time, 1 minute and 48 seconds, a bit off of the track record of 1:46.3. Let's take a look now as they come to the top of the stretch. He found an opening on the rail. Gary Stevens, the rider, doing an excellent job of Silver Ending. Of course, is known for his closing abilities. There you see him on the rail. And Gary Stevens puts him in front there. Real Cash is now giving chase from D. Wayne Lucas's stable with the white blinkers behind. But all the way it is Silver Ending flipping that silver tail at the rest of the field as he heads down the stretch here at Oaklawn Park to win the Arkansas Derby. And now head on 2 weeks from today to Churchill Downs and the Run for the Roses. We'll be back with our prices and some interviews with Silver Ending. Welcome back to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Unofficial winner of the Arkansas Derby, number 5 there, Silver Ending. Unofficial, Silver Ending in 1:48. Real Cash was second. Power Lunch was third. An objection has just gone up on the board. As 1, Real Cash has filed an objection against the 5, Silver Ending. The objection sign has just gone up on the board, and a gasp goes up from the crowd. And I'll tell you, some worried looks on the face of Deborah McAnally, along with Angelo Costanza. There's Deborah McAnally, one of the co-owners here of this colt, Silver Ending. And there Deborah looks, after a moment, looking so elated, looks a little concerned now as Gary Stevens up on the very unofficial winner, Silver Ending. Let's see if Tom Durkin can help us with this objection, Tom.
All right, we're going to take an isolated look here at number 5, Silver Ending, going into the turn. That is Power Lunch to his outside there, and those 2 horses are both moving well at this point. Real Cash, who was the one that claimed foul, is the horse there in the white blinkers, and at this point they're coming toward the top of the stretch. Silver Ending comes through on the inside, and Real Cash with Jose Santos. Now as they turn for home, Santos has to take up there. Silver Ending coming out just a little bit. Judgment call. judgment call. Real Cash had to steady at a crucial point in the race. And as we see them coming down the lane, Silver Ending draw off. So the incident apparently is that incident at the quarter pole as Silver Ending just came off the rail ever so slightly, but enough to just put a Real Cash in some kind of jeopardy. And how much? Well, that depends on how much the stewards think. Chris?
All right, it is important to know it is an objection up, which means the rider, Jose Santos, perhaps trainer Dwayne Lucas, the one who claimed foul there, was not put up by the stewards, as an inquiry is. They have already taken Silver Ending into the winner's circle. They have taken the official picture, taken his saddle off. As you see here, the cooler is going on from the Ron McAnally stable. We're going to take a break, try to sort out this objection along with the stewards, and come back hopefully to make things official in this Arkansas Derby. But right now, nothing's official here in Hot Springs.
Hall of Fame designee Ron McAnally, the trainer of Silver Ending, and his wife in the winner's circle, celebrating their victory in this Arkansas Derby. Let's look at the mutual rewards. Silver Ending returning 14, 20, 760, and 580. The final time was 148 flat. Real Cash and Power Lunch were part of that Wayne Lucas entry, and the exacta 5 over the 1 came back $104.80. Here's the way the rest of them finished. Maverick Miner Penguin ran a pretty good race. He was on top to 3/4 in the 110 flat. Hawaiian Pass, Bright again, the favorite, was up close and just didn't have anything left at all for the last half mile. CSAB came from about 20 lengths out of it, but no serious threat there. Wicked Destiny, Nuit Saint George, bit of a disappointing race there. Autocracy was a long price. Tarascon ran as far as the far turn, and Bismarck Hills was up close early and dropped back to be last. Here's Chris.
Well, that's our story on the Arkansas Derby to this point. The objection, of course, was not allowed, and Silver Ending is our official winner. Now, we promised bonus race coverage earlier today, the Ashland Stakes at Keeneland. Let's take a look at the conditions there for this Grade 1 event. It is for 3-year-old fillies. They are going 3 mile and a 16th, $200,000 added is the purse. Let's take a look at the field now for the Ashland Stakes. It's Joyce Asleen at 22. Seaside Attraction was scratched. Piper at 30. Big prices there. Now let's look at the favorites in this field of 5. Finally running. Trumpets Blair at 6-1. Craig Perret has been red hot down there. Sharon at 3-1. And the favorite, the 2-year-old champion filly, Go For One at 1-5. Here's the call now. Mike Battaglia with the Ashland Stakes earlier at Keeneland.
Standing well. And they're off. Go For One breaks quickly on the outside. On the inside, Joyce Asleen. Up between those two, that's Sharon. Then it's Piper, and Trumpets Blair trails. As they move forward the first turn, Joyce Asleen on the inside has the lead. Trumpets Blair is being eased before they get to the first turn. Craig Perret pulling Trumpets Blair up. And it's Joyce Asleen in front by a length. Sharon is second. And it's a length back. Go For One up on the outside, runs third. Gap of 6 to Piper. On to the back stretch. Joyce Asleen is in front. Now by a length. Go For One gains ground now up on the outside. Moves by and takes second. Sharon is third. Then Piper. Down the back stretch, Go For One moves by on the outside, quickly gets the lead. Opens it out to a length and a half. Sharon moves up on the outside, still down along the inside. That's Joyce Asleen and the trailer Piper. Moving into the turn, it's Go For One in front by 2. Sharon into second. Joyce Asleen is dropped back third, then Piper trails. They're into the turn. Go For One draws out by 3. Sharon is second, gap of 5. Then it's Piper and Joyce Asleen. Into the stretch, it's Go For One in front by 3. Sharon is second, then Piper. In the final 16th, it's all Go For One in front. She's got it by 4 lengths. Then Sharon, under the wire, Go For One wins the Ashland easily by 5, maybe 6 lengths.
Won it just like a champion's supposed to. Go For One, the juvenile champion, is on her second big stakes there at Keeneland in this meet. Ashland Stakes winner, Go For One, 143 and 3, 260, 210. No show wagering with a short field. Sharon was second, and Piper was third. Well, a big sigh of relief from this group here. The trainer of Silver Ending and the owners here, the Costanzas, along with the others of the McAnally team. Beth Costanza, Angelo here, Ron, the Hall of Famer, and got a smile on his face. Ron, we're going to take a look at Silver Ending's big move here, isolated. What a big win for you.
Oh, that was super, Chris. Oh, and people here at Oaklawn have been so great. You know, even had we not won it, you know, that Mr. Sella is one of the finest men I think I've ever met.
Here is Silver Ending, number 5 on the inside.
Yeah, you know, I'm surprised because usually the inside of the track all week long has been bad. But he showed that, you know, he has the courage, and he got a lot of mud in his face today, but with the right kind of mud.
Ron, I've got to ask you about your rider decision now. Gary Stevens obviously is committed to Mr. Frisky.
Well, I don't know if he's committed or not, but he certainly has his choice to ride our horse or whatever he wants to do. But anyway, we wish everybody the best of luck.
All right. Angela, congratulations. You finally got to the winner's circle again.
Yeah, this is the greatest feeling I've ever had.
Deborah, welcome back from Europe.
Thank you, Chris. It's a great treat home.
All right, Beth, congratulations. I want to show you the wood results now from earlier today at Aqueduct, the final big prep in the East. 36 Red has now made champagne for Ashley, no longer an undefeated. 36 Red, the winner of our Gotham Stakes a couple of weeks ago. You remember that big Bud Exacta, 150 and 2. $16, $660 and $340. Burnt Hills from Bobby Frankel's barn was second. Champagne for Ashley was third. Probably see all three of those coming up.